This video will give the typical procedure for the initial scan of the 737 forward overhead panel upon entering the cockpit. It is a guide only for use with Project Magenta software. Electrical power is supplied first by switching on the battery master switch. The standby power switch should normally be in the auto position. Before we begin the forward panel scan, we can select the ground power if it is available, or start the APU. While we wait for the APU generator to come online, we can start the panel scan. The scan is made starting at the top of each panel section and working down it. This is not a checklist or command and response drill, simply a scan to make sure that the switches are in their correct positions as per the aircraft operating procedures. Continue the scan down to the fuel pumps. Cross-feed valves are closed, pumps to on. The low pressure indication will only extinguish when the APU generator buzz has been selected. Scan down panel section 2. The red generator drive switches should always be closed. The APU generator buzz is now available. Toggle the switches down to power the buzz. With the APU generator online, window heat and probe heat can be selected on as required. If the hydraulic pumps electrics 1 and 2 for the systems A and B are not already selected on, do so now. The engine-driven pumps are left in the off position until the engines are running. Bleed air is used for starting the engines, wing and engine anti-ice, pressurization for the hydraulic reservoirs, air conditioning and cabin pressurization. The bleed air system has a left and a right side. Switches on the bleed air panel control the supply of bleed air. Opening the APU valve supplies air to the left side. When the isolation valve between left and right system is opened, air will also be supplied to the right system. The engines also have bleed air which need to be opened before the engines are started so that the bleed air can be supplied through the start valves. The left and right packs can be supplied by opening respective valves. On the cabin pressurization panel, select the landing altitude of your destination airport and your cruising altitude. Scan the lighting panel and set lights as required. Make sure that the thrust levers are fully back and closed. On the engine start panel, you can use either the left igniter or right igniter for each engine, or both. Select ground for engine number 2. The start valve opens, seen on the ICAS, and the engine bleed valve closes to direct air to the starter automatically. When N2 equals 25% or a minimum of 20% N2, move the engine start lever to idle. At 56%, the valve will close. The engine bleed air valve then automatically opens again. Once both generators are available, we can bring them online. We can now also select engine-driven hydraulic pumps, and the yaw damper can be selected to on. The APU can now be shut down if it is no longer required.